presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
$161 down, one more to go. The 2016 season of Twins baseball comes to a close today inside Chicago's U.S. Cellular Field. A hopeful final win lies in the hands of rookie Jose Barrios, who has come up short of expectations but hopes to end on a high note against Chicago's ace, Chris Sale, who still has Cy Young hopes in his mind. Welcome to Chicago, everyone. I'm Audra Martin. In just a few minutes, the Twins will take to the field for one final time this season, but they'll do so without Brian Dozier and without Joe Mauer, not to mention the whole slew of other players who've been battling injuries. But injuries were never the issue with this season. Unfortunately, pitching, errors, and sluggish offense were the things this team really needs to worry about heading into next season. But as they look back on 2016, they all hope it was a learning experience they can build off next year.
We had some guys that, maybe we were counting on a little bit too much, that we still need to kind of wait for them to develop and come into their own. But you're always looking for things that are positive, and we got some guys out there that should feel pretty good about that they were able to go out and do what they did on the field.
So we got to learn how to win as a team. I think that's the main thing, and earlier in the summer we learned how to win on the road, and we kind of got away from that. I think it's why you got to stay even keel, and each day you got to grind each day out. I think that's what the good teams do, is they grind each game out, each inning. So hopefully we could take that and going into next year.
It can turn really quick. You've seen a lot of teams go from worst to contending teams and stuff like that. So that's how baseball is. But at the same time, I'm a realist, and we got to get better in a lot of different ways.
Coming up next, this season will always be marked with an uncomfortable jersey and a pair of scissors, but Chris Sale hopes a Cy Young Award will make up for all of it. Dick Bramer and Burt Blyleven discuss his chances next on Fox Sports North.
North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
For the last time in 2016, the Twins will take on the Chicago White Sox. Final game of the year. Miguel Sano and the Twins hoping to finish a very disappointing season with a win on the south side of Chicago. And good Sunday afternoon to you, and it is the last time that we will be privileged to bring you Twins baseball. Dick and Bert with you. By the way, we're wearing pins because we're saying goodbye to Vin Scully today, and we'll talk about a lot of different goodbyes that baseball will say to some key people this year. But the Twins will face Chris Sale for the Chicago White Sox. Not exactly the way you want to go into the offseason because he's still very, very good.
Yeah, he's a strikeout pitcher. Chris Sale, for some reason, he's only pitched one time this year against the Twins, and that was here back in early May. His overall record, very good. His name's going to be mentioned maybe in the Cy Young Award category, but there's some other guys, and we'll talk that throughout the ballgame about where I feel that Chris Sale belongs as far as Cy Young Awards, but he's having a great year. Now, Twins have had some success against him, even though he beat him earlier this year. He was 1-4 last year with a high ERA in 6 starts. Well, that's where he ranks right there. You can see the complete games. This guy will pitch a lot of innings, 4th, 3rd in the American League in innings pitched, and he's a strikeout pitcher.
Well, it's been a disappointing season for both teams. We'll see how the game 162 finishes here in Chicago with the Twins closing out the 16th season against the White Sox. This year has not gone as planned for the Twins. Hitting wasn't as timely, and pitchers were unable to recover from a futile start. So what can we take away from 2016? Young outfielders showed some promising signs, and Brian Dozier's power surge was must-see TV. There goes another one! Are you kidding me? Brian Dozier joins the 40 home run club. Today, we put a bow on the season with hopes that the Twins' youth movement can lead to an improved 2017.
And in all honesty, given the start of the season, there's been one eye on 2017 for a good part of the 2016 season. That's what most of the season has become, an audition for what is hoped to be a better team next year.
Yeah, for sure, and let's hope so.
And there are disappointments here on the south side of Chicago as well. There's Paul Molitor in his final game, of course, of his second season. He's got a winning record against the White Sox. And Brian Dozier last night injured himself. He's got a sore quadricep muscle, so he's not going to play today. That will give Byron Buxton a shot in the leadoff spot on the Menards batting order. Then Jorge Polanco, Robbie Grossman, Miguel Sano, Kenny Vargas, Max Kepler, Eduardo Escobar, John Ryan Murphy, and Logan Schaefer.
And 27-year-old Chris Sale, a 5-time All-Star for the Chicago White Sox, is making his 32nd start of the year, just his second against the Twins. Again, the last one came on May 7th here. He worked 7 innings, had 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. He beat the Twins 7-2 in that ballgame.
This is where Buxton perhaps figures to settle in the Twins batting order in the leadoff spot, but of course he's hit on the bottom of the order all year long. And the first pitch hit high and deep to center. Going back is Garcia, going around and back and not able to make the play. Buxton around second. He'll go to third. He's coming around, and Byron Buxton has hit an inside the park home run on the first pitch of the game.
How about that for Byron Buxton, jumping on that first fastball. Garcia got turned around. And the speed of Buxton with those long strides, his 10th home run of the year. That makes 11 now. Twins have 10 or more home runs. So jumping on the first fastball. Garcia spinning around. Ball ended up getting behind him. He fell. And I believe it's the right fielder, Adam Eaton, that has to come all the way over.
Oh, right there,
and
he
get that
knows.
ball in. Yeah.
Right there, he knows. I'm going to run a lap. So Sale, 1 pitch into his start, is behind 1-0. And Garcia a little dinged up. An awkward collision into the wall, and now here's Jorge Polanco. And strike 1.
There's a changeup right there. He started Buxton off with a fastball. Sale has a nasty slider. He's very, very tough, but you have to be able to sit on that fastball and swing early.
Half swing. Did he check? No. Appeal? No. Wendelstedt said he went around, and I just got it out of my mouth. You know, the Twins figured Buxton to be a leadoff batter, but not necessarily. They do believe, given the power that they've seen in September, that eventually his position might be third in the batting order. A lot of things have to happen between now and then. Here's a high fly to left, and Cabrera makes the catch, 1 away. And the White Sox out on the field. Back with pretty much the same line of veterans throughout the lineup. Cabrera in left, Garcia in center, Eaton in right, Todd Frazier, Tim Anderson, a rookie, Carlos Sanchez, Jose Abreu, and Alex Avila behind the plate. 1 down, 1 in, and here's Robbie Grossman. Fastball, strike 1. Strike 2.
Not a lot of at-bats against Chris Sale for Grossman, 0 for 4, but Chris Sale has struck him out a couple times.
You mentioned it, the home run by Buxton, making him now the 11th Twins player with 10 or more home runs. It's only been done twice in Major League history. And now inside, and it gets the Twins home run total to 199. They need to hit 1 more here today to reach the 200 home run hit mark. And Grossman fouls it back. Eduardo Nunez had an inside the park home run back at Target Field in June. 2-2 to Grossman. And a breaking ball shaves the corner, 2 down.
Well, strikeout for Sale. That's his 28th strikeout. Currently third on the American League list in strikeouts. The big breaking ball is Justin Verlander, who will win the title, and then Chris Archer, and then Chris Sale.
Here is Sano, 5 for 8 against Chris Sale. Takes outside, ball 1. Two and 0. White Sox gave Sale the option. Can pitch today, cannot pitch today. We don't care. Sale said, I want to pitch, which is what you want to hear.
Yep.
3-0. Vargas on deck.
Chris Sale made the All-Star team this year, but really since the All-Star break, he has really struggled. Just 3-6 in his last 13 starts.
Sano swings through on 3-0.
Prior to the All-Star game, he was 14-3 in 18 starts.
And Sano takes a walk. They'll bring up Vargas. There's some question whether Sale is pitching his last game for the White Sox. This has been such a disappointing year for Chicago. They, in the offseason, will consider any and all options, trading Sale or Quintana. There are increasing reports that Robin Ventura is managing his last game for the White Sox today. Rick Renteria, his bench coach, will take over. Ventura again today declined to comment, said he'll comment on that matter after the game today.
And there's Renteria right there blowing the bubble to his right.
1 strike to Vargas. Breaking ball hits the corner, and it's 0-2. Vargas, one of the 11 twins with 10 or more home runs. And he's only been with the club for 2 months. Inside, 1-2. You can see 11 players with 10 or more home runs, and one of them's in the 40 home run club. It's been an odd year that way. As disappointing as the season's been for the Twins, they've hit more home runs. Up high. Oh, I beg your pardon. High strike call by Nick Lentz. First pitch of the game hits to straightaway center field, and Byron Buxton with his first major league inside the park home run. Home runs, hitting 9th. His first game as a leadoff batter this year. Hit the first pitch to the base of the center field fence. Raced around for his 10th home run, and inside the park home run. And the Menards batting order, perhaps in Robin Ventura's last game. Adam Eaton leading off. Tim Anderson, Melky Cabrera, Jose Abreu, Justin Morneau, Todd Frazier, Alex Avila, Carlos Sanchez, and Lurie Garcia.
And for the Twins, just 22 years old, Jose Barrios making his 14th start.
This one drilled to right, but right at Kepler, one away.
And that's exactly what Barrios is hopefully looking to do here today. Get some quick outs. You can see the numbers, not good. The high earned run average. He's averaged 20 pitches per inning. That's way too much. That's why one reason he's not been able to go deep into the ball game. The walks are high. The hits allowed, 70 hits, 32 walks in 53 and a third innings. Needs to go here. He's never faced a White Sox. Attack early.
Strike one. Tim Anderson, the batter. Strike two.
We've seen the baby steps of Jose Barrios this year. What the Twins want to see is some giant steps. And that's to pitch deep into the ball game. Be a little more consistent.
I was saying in the pregame how, really one of the big disappointments for me, the fact that Barrios is here, but he hasn't secured a spot. Duffy came back this year, and his spot in the rotation, if anything, is more tenuous this offseason than it was last offseason.
And still, I'd like to see him a little more aggressive in that strike zone. They've changed his delivery from now going over his head. Try to allow that arm to catch up to his body. And a good pitch right there. It's a strikeout.
96 on the outside edge, 2 down.
He can pick up some strikeouts. 47 now in 54 innings pitched.
Northland fourth defense for the Twins. Logan Schaefer's in left. Byron Buxton's in center. Max Kepler is in right field. An infield of Sano, Polanco, Escobar, and Vargas, with Dozier, of course, out of the lineup, and John Ryan Murphy behind the plate. Well, in the Anderson at bat, you saw Barrios' ability to hit the inside corner with a fastball, outside corner with a fastball. He just needs to do that on a more consistent basis.
And so far, what I've seen, he's down in the strike zone. So maybe the over-the-head delivery going to take a while. You're not going to turn it on overnight, but keeps that body back and then go toward the plate. 2 good fastballs, just missing outside.
And it's 2-0 to Melky Cabrera. Held hitless last night for one of the few times against the Twins this year.
So Murphy's not going to move much behind the plate there. Just missing low.
3 identical 93-mile-per-hour fastballs just off the outside corner. I think Cabrera would have the green light here. And he takes a strike. Popped up center field. Buxton has a play. And he makes the play. Good 1-2-3 inning for Jose Barrios.
Twins have had. Brian Dozier not in the lineup. Byron Buxton hits a leadoff home run in his absence. And our Sanford Health injury report: a strained oblique. I've heard it called a thigh issue with the Brian Dozier. At any rate, he's not in the lineup and apparently will be stuck on 99 runs batted in. The White Sox have a change. J.B. Shuck is in center field. Apparently Lurie Garcia dinged himself on Buxton's inside the park home run.
Yeah, we saw him fall, maybe twisting an ankle or something. We can only speculate, but Shuck is out there now.
And tomorrow we won't even be able to do that. We can't speculate anymore tomorrow. What are we going to do? Kepler with a 1-1 count. Escobar and Murphy will follow. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Oh, Chris Sale very tough on left-handed hitters. Left-handers hitting only 187 off him this year.
Kepler standing in against him for the first time. And a high fastball.
Hornets batting average overall only .225. That's fourth best in the American League.
I think you'd have to call Kepler's ascension to the big league club and the ability to stay here and play on an everyday basis as a moderate success, not an overwhelming success, but a success. He looks like he belongs here, and it looks like he'll get better. The average will be higher next year. At least that's the hope.
A little bit of an open stance.
Jacked his swing, 3-2.
Laid off that big sweeping breaking ball there. Very still as far as the bat when he takes it up over his left shoulder.
And a call, third strike.
Maybe guessing something else. He took a fastball. Sale picks up his third strikeout. All of them called third strikes.
For a while, Dozier was one behind Mark Trumbo in the home run hitting department, but Trumbo's got 5 more than Dozier does right now, but still a tremendous year. Brian Dozier, I think it's safe to say, has emerged as one of the better players in the American League.
No, he came into this season a .246 hitter. He's going to end it at .268, so he's improved by 20 points. Of course, the power. He had 35 doubles, 5 triples, a lot of extra base hits. So yes, it's a disappointment he doesn't get 100, but he had one whale of a season.
Driven foul, lifted foul over the Twins dugout, and it's 0-2.
And what you're looking for is confidence going into the winter, going into next season, and I think Brian has shown, and now he's hopefully believes that he can be a higher average hitter with some pop. And that's where the Twins may look him maybe next year to drop him in the lineup a little bit. He'll have more maybe RBI situations.
Sure looked like his batting average was going to finish right around 300 with all the other gaudy numbers. This ball rolled to the right side. Sanchez to Abreu, 2 down. And that'll bring up John Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, at one point he was up in the 280s, high 280s, and then you know, he hit this little 2-week little slump that he struggled, and maybe he was battling that little oblique strain and tried to play through it. And I know that swing he had yesterday, his final at bat, you could almost see that he was hurting.
Still had over 600 at bats this year. And a disappointing bookends to an otherwise phenomenal season. He got off to a poor start, poor finish, but pretty much everything in between was off the charts. Murphy takes strike 1.
Well, you want to swing early against this guy here because he'll show you a fastball. He does a good job of getting ahead of hitters, and then he'll mix in a very good changeup and then that slider.
Bouncer to third, 2 hops. Frazier across the diamond, and Sale has a 1-2.
That was a changeup right there that got the ground ball out.
with the 1-0 lead here in Chicago. Before the game today, I asked Paul Molitor if he had to sum up this season in one word, what would he use? And without hesitation, he said disappointing. And it was with such emotion that you could see really how much the season has weighed on him. He said it goes back to the winter when he was thinking about just how high the expectations were and how much he was looking forward to really teaching this team and helping them get to the next level. And instead of being able to be a manager and be a teacher, instead turned to his job having to be ways to just find ways to help his team get through this season. He said eventually you run out of ways to keep the guys motivated. He says that was harder than he would have expected, but at the end of the day, he's hoping that this young group of guys took a lot of positives away from the season and that it was a learning experience to build off of. Guys.
Well, thank you, Audra. Abreu being hit by a pitch. He'll force Berríos now to pitch from the stretch early in the second inning.
Well, after missing away that running fastball, looked like the left elbow area of Abreu. So he'll take first base. 5th hit batsman for Berríos.
That'll bring up Justin Morneau. Slow breaking ball over for a strike. You and I had the pleasure, at least it was a pleasure for me, I think for you too. We went over and did some radio work before the game today about the Inside Twins radio show an hour before game time.
That was fun.
And the subject was brought up in our round table discussion, even though there was no round table.
There was no round table. That disappointed me.
About leadership and the Twins' void in that category this year. And one of the guys that might be out there that would fill the void would be the guy in the box right now, Justin Morneau, a very good clubhouse presence. But as we discussed the other day, the Twins are stacked pretty deep in Morneau type players. They've got Joe Mauer, they've got Byung-Ho Park, they've got Kenny Vargas. I mean, and they're all kind of that first baseman DH type of guy.
Right. Yeah, again, the Twins, you hate to say it, but hey, folks, you know, during the winter, the Twins have to really look at their system and decide what direction they have to go. I think offensively, they got some young, talented kids, but they're learning up here, and you want to see that better. You want to see some of these kids better prepared in the minor leagues before they come up.
2-2 to Morneau. Todd Frazier on deck.
Especially the pitchers.
And now a full count.
Like Berríos.
Berríos won at A, AA, AAA. And I'm trying to figure it out up here.
Well, you can win down there with you know, stuff that maybe you don't hit your spots, but up here you have to hit that spot with that fastball.
And a walk to Morneau. This is what we've seen.
Yeah, it's like I'm preaching to a choir, but it's you know, we see it time in and time out. We see the same thing from Tyler Duffy and also Kyle Gibson. And he's been here for 3 years.
Escobar comes in. A quick word with Berríos. First and second. You can see a couple of guys in the 40 home run club like to pull the ball.
That's what Frazier's all about. He'll chase that slider down and away, but he's looking dead red middle in that he can pull over that fence out in left field.
Berríos now will face Frazier for the first time, trying to stay in the strike zone. Breaking ball hits the corner, strike one. Saw Abreu with 99 runs batted in, Frazier with 98. Berríos trying to get a double play grounder here. He's gotten 5 of those in a little more than 50 innings. Liner to Sano, and a throw to second that he didn't need to make. One down. Kind of a soft line drive to it. Had a little hump to it, but Sano was able to get it for the first out.
Yeah, nice reaction by Sano over at third. Then you're right. You know, at second base, you have Abreu. He doesn't have the. Just hoping that maybe Abreu got too far off, and go ahead and try it. But Escobar takes the low throw. They got one out. Runners at first and second.
And now Alex Avila, who's been hurt this year in his first year with the White Sox, just 166 at bats. And he's this year and always has been very strikeout prone. We'll see if Berríos can get one here.
He's had some hamstring injuries. Both the right and the left hamstrings have put him on a disabled list a couple different times. Tough for a catcher to have hamstring injuries.
Anything with the legs. They crouch up and down about a couple hundred times a day.
Twins saw, of course, Avila 7 years with the Tigers in his first season with the White Sox.
1-0 to Avila. And now 2-0. Avila's former team, the Detroit Tigers, playing for their playoff lives today. They have to win and then cross their fingers.
Yeah, I'm glad that every game in baseball is starting exactly the time we started here at 2:10.
First time they've done that. 2-0 to Avila. Three and Berríos is in danger of having his control fill the bases. And now Sano will come in. You know, the one thing, and I think universally it's pretty well liked, this 2 o'clock start time. But it, you know, for baseball viewers who would like to follow and maybe watch both the Orioles game and the Tigers game to see if one wins and the other loses. I mean, everything's running concurrently. So you got to watch one or the other.
Well, you got those TVs now. You can, you know, watch 2 or 3 different.
Really?
Yeah, they're out there. I don't have. I think I have one. I've never done it.
How does that work with the rabbit ears? You know, when I adjust my rabbit ears at home.
You have to move it around a little bit. Yeah.
3-1.
And Avila had the right to swing right there, and he swung through a high fastball.
And a strike now, 3-2.
Good low fastball there. I've seen Berríos more down in the strike zone, and when he's missed, it's been basically down, so that's a good sign. He needs innings. He needs innings up here. Came in 14 starts, 53 innings, so that's like, you know, 4 innings a start. Needs to push it out, and hopefully he can do that here this afternoon.
Avila strikes out a lot and walks a lot. And he just struck out. 2 down.
Strikeout number 2. So Berríos fell behind 3-0 and comes back and strikes out Avila.
We'll bring up Carlos Sanchez.
Just challenge him with your good fastball. And that fastball has a little tail on it. Avila swings through it. Good pitch. Good comeback.
Sanchez just hitting a little over 200. Braves got a first inning run on Justin Verlander. They lead Detroit 1-0 in the second inning. Baltimore with a lead over the Yankees 1-0. Ball 1.
Internationally, kind of a must-win for the Cardinals, but the Giants are up on the Dodgers 2-0 early.
In Vin Scully's last game broadcasting Dodger games. Foul back, 1-1. We're wearing pins honoring Mr. Scully's great legacy and career.
What a career it was. And is.
Berríos trying to pitch around a leadoff hit batter and a follow-up walk. 1-1. 1-2. .30 pitches so far for Berríos. He's got 4 swings and misses this inning. Fly ball left center field. Buxton over. Falling for it all the way. And Berríos successfully pitches around a couple of base runners early in the second inning.
North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com.
1-0 Twins, last game of the year. Audra Martin, Bert Blyleven, and Dick Bramer here at U.S. Cellular Field. And we have to say goodbye to U.S. Cellular Field, too, because in a month they're going to rename it.
That's right, they are. What was it, guaranteed rate?
Guaranteed rate field.
Whoa.
Right between Sale's legs.
Right through the wickets.
And Schaefer's aboard with a leadoff single. And as Byron Buxton comes to the plate, let's check in with Audrey.
That Byron Buxton's home run helped this team match a major league record for the amount of players with 10 home runs in a single season. But he also set a record for himself. He made it from home back to home in 14 seconds flat. That is the fastest time officially in the StatsCast era. Now, yes, it's only a few years old that we have the technology that can mark that, but still 14 seconds flat. The next fastest guy was Melvin Upton at 14.85 seconds for an inside the park home run, guys. So almost a full second faster. It's unbelievable just to see how fast he really is along the bases.
Yeah, and Melvin Upton, a lot the same type of build as Buxton, and the long strides.
One strike to Buxton. Missed inside with a fastball.
You know, we did a comparison, and I said Buxton reminds me playing center field as Devon White, and Devon White had the same thing that, you know, former teammate of Paul Molitor. Paul mentioned Devon White, the long strides once they get going. Fun to watch run.
Down the line, and he'll have another extra base hit. Schaefer to third, Buxton to second, and the Twins with a threat here. A couple of sharp hits by Schaefer and Buxton, second and third, nobody out.
You know, that's what I've watched Buxton do. When a breaking ball is up, he's put some pretty good swings on it. He did that in Kansas City too. Watch the breaking ball that kind of just stayed up, and he's weighted back nicely using those quick hands and hitting it right down that left field line. And good thing Schaefer is quick, because Buxton probably would have run up his back, but Schaefer does make it over to third, so it's a double for Buxton, his 19th of the year.
Here's Polanco with two men, two very fast runners in scoring position, and there's ball one. You know, it just seems that, and of course the season was a disaster for the Twins, but in the month of September you just sense in watching Buxton that almost on a daily basis he has more confidence that he belongs here. And if you don't have that, there's really no hope for you. And he struggled in other trials with the Twins, but he exudes some confidence that he didn't have before September. You see it, or you sense it when you talk to him, when you just see him carry his way around the dugout in the clubhouse. 2-0 to Polanco. This one hit hard to center. Shuck goes back, makes the catch. Everybody moves up a base, and that means it's 2-0. And Polanco's driven in his 27th run.
Yeah, and while you're talking about Buxton, you know, another positive is that man right there, Polanco.
Difference is when they called him up from Class A ball a couple of years ago, he just felt like he belonged here. And he's reaffirmed that on a daily basis. 2-0 Twins, and now Grossman will try to do at least what Polanco did. Infield in. And Grossman bounces it foul. I'm sure it's different for a pitcher, but when you were called up decades and decades ago.
Yes, my defense did have gloves.
One strike to Grossman. Until you had some success, and right away it was what, you won 2-1, something like that. But until you had that inner confidence that you belonged up here, it's hard to feel comfortable, isn't it?
You know what, Dick, I had an opportunity to pitch for 22 years, and I just never took anything for granted. I knew wearing that major league uniform was an honor. I worked hard to get there. I got there very quickly, but I wanted to stay on forever, and I knew I had to keep working hard. You could pitch a shutout, You know what I wanted? I wanted another one. You know, and that's the drive you have to have. And that's what I see in Polanco. You know, this kid likes to play the game of baseball.
1-2 to Grossman. And Grossman got a piece. But I guess I'm talking about just the initial stages. You know, until you.
It takes time.
Until you feel like your stuff will play up here, it's kind of hard to expect the results to be positive. And now we're starting to see that, we think, from Buxton.
Well, this is a game of negatives, really. I mean, a good hitter gets 3 hits every 10 at bats. So that means 7 times they failed.
1-2. Inside 2-2. Almost hit him.
It took me a long time, Dick. When I lost 1-0 or 2-1, I blamed myself, and it made me work harder. And that's something you have to dig within sometimes.
2-2 to Grossman. Close pitch taken for ball 3. He was called out on strikes in the first inning. Well, that was a strike according to Fox Strikes.
Well, if you're a Twins fan, thank goodness Fox Strikes doesn't have control of that.
It's a bouncer behind the bag. Buxton will stay on the bag, and Grossman has an infield hit. Nice play by Frazier to keep that ball from scoring Buxton. So an oddity, a runner at third, an infield hit, but the runner at third doesn't score because of where the ball was hit.
Well, and Frazier knew once he dove for this ball, he has no chance to throw that ball across the diamond. So, you know, smartly right there, you can see him get up slowly. Got no chance. Hey, maybe saved a double right there instead of just an infield base hit.
Here's Sano. We told you earlier, 5 for 8 against Chris Sale, and Sale walked him very quickly with 2 outs in the first. Light rain falling here at U.S. Cellular Field. Well, yeah, come to think of it, that name doesn't exactly roll off your tongue either, but we've been saying it for 20 years. But Guaranteed Rate Park, Field, Stadium, whatever it is. Big swing and a miss, 1-1.
Kind of makes you want to go out and refinance, doesn't it? Guaranteed rate.
1-1 to Sano. Inside, 2-1.
I mentioned at the top of the show, the Twins have had some success against Chris Sale. He's making his 24th career appearance against the Twins, his 16th start. He is 8-5 with an ERA at 4.05. It's the highest ERA against the ball club other than the Cleveland Indians.
And now 3-1 to Sano with Vargas on deck.
And last year, Sale made 6 starts. This is only his 2nd start this year against the Twins, but 6 starts last year. Twins were 1-4 against him.
No.
Excuse me. 4-1, and
right.
He had an ERA of 7.36.
He even knocked him out early a couple of times last year, and that never happened.
No.
3-1 to Miguel Sano. A deep blast to left field, and a 3-run home run for Miguel Sano has made the Twins jump on Chris Sale. It's 5-0.
Well, 2nd home run in the ball game allowed by Chris Sale, 27 on the season, and for Miguel Sano, number 25. So the big man puts the Twins up 5-0. Fastball, lower part of the strike zone, and Chris Sale knew it right away.
And so did Melky Cabrera. He hardly moved in left field. Here is Vargas. Outside, ball 1. On the ground. Anderson gets in front of it, throws across, 2 down. And it'll bring up Kepler. 2017 season tickets are on sale now. You can choose from the full season, partial season, or the ever-popular flex plan. All season ticket packages include membership in Sweet Spot, the Twins season ticket benefits and rewards program. Go to twinsbaseball.com or call 612-375-7454.
And by the way, that's the no home run, the 200th by this ball club this year.
How about that? Driven foul off the bat of Kepler. Third time in Twins history, first time since 1964 that the Twins have hit 200 in a season. And this will go down as a lost season for the Twins, in part because they've given up 221 home runs. 1-1 with the rain picking up a little bit here. 2-1.
You know, you look at the Twins scored, you know, coming into the ball game, they've scored 716 runs, which is a good amount of runs, but they've given up 886, so 170 runs difference there.
That would explain 103 losses, wouldn't it? And Kepler drops one down the line for a base hit, and he'll round first and dig for second. Not well hit at all, but Kepler goes in with a stand-up double.
The fifth hit of the inning off of Chris Sale.
Sale a little upset, as you might expect. And again, it was hard to figure last year. The Twins had a good team last year. They won 83 ball games, but they almost single-handedly kept Sale out of the Cy Young conversation last year.
Yep, and you know what? Right there, I mean, look at that nice piece of hitting by Kepler. That big breaking ball, didn't try to pull it off the end of the bat, but just flared it down that left field line. His 20th double of the year.
Here is Escobar. Up and away, ball one. You know, we were talking before the game, and we know disappointing seasons. We've lived through one this year. But on some levels, if you were following the White Sox, you'd be even more disappointed than Twins fans would be. This team, this White Sox team, should be in the playoffs. When you think of the starting pitching that they have had this year, Sale, Quintana, both among the best in the league in earned run average. You've got a 30 home run, roughly 30 home run a year guy, 100 runs batted in. Abreu, Frazier's hit 40 home runs this year. You know, this lineup and the pitching staff would suggest that they should be playing in October, other than finishing their season on October 2nd.
They shouldn't be at fourth place, put it that way.
Yeah.
Cleveland's having a great year. You know, Detroit, so-so, and they're still trying to get in the playoffs today, but
drilled foul.
No, I agree. I think we talked about that. It's a good ball club for some reason.
There's something missing.
There's something missing, right? They started the season at one point. They were 24-12 in about the middle of May. But then the ship found a hole and it started to sink.
And now 2-2. The reports have been that the White Sox have offered Robin Ventura an extension, and later reports say that he's decided he's done, and that the White Sox will hand the reins to Renteria. I'm not suggesting that that's what's missing. It's just an odd mix. They started playing, as you said, very good baseball first month and a half of the year, and since then their record has been down, where the Twins has been.
Well, they had a lot of controversy in the clubhouse right in spring training, and then Chris Sale himself, he cut up the outfits that he didn't want to wear, the uniform.
Fly to left, and Melky Cabrera squeezes it on the edge of the warning track. Good inning for the Twins. Miguel Sano, with 2 men aboard, hit his 25th of the year, and it's 5-0 Twins. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours?
Miguel Sano's 3-run home run highlighting a 4-run third. 5-0 the lead now for Barrios, and he pitches to J.B. Shuck leading off the Chicago third. Shuck entered the game when Leury Garcia banged into the fence on Buxton's inside the park home run on the first pitch of the game.
Well, you're given a lead like this, Dick. You know what? As a pitcher, you attack. You attack. You forget about everything that you talked about with your catcher before the ball game. Establish that fastball. Go right after him. Make him swing the bat.
2-1.
Eleven pitches in the first, 20 in the second.
And Shuck fouls it back. Atlanta still leading Detroit 1-0, top of the third inning. Toronto, Boston scoreless, top of the third inning. Orioles leading over the Yankees 3-0, top of the fourth. Chipped to left and foul. Meanwhile, the Giants have a 4-0 lead over the Dodgers now, and if they win their game, there isn't anything St. Louis can do or say about it. Right. The Giants will be in the wild card game against the Mets. Two and two. Now, on the National League schedule for tomorrow, they have a game listed. It is the Atlanta-Miami game that was postponed last week because of the tragic death of Jose Fernandez. There's no game listed in the American League, but I don't see how this Cleveland Tiger game. There's a ball lifted to left, and retreating is Schaefer and makes the catch one away. I don't know how the Cleveland-Detroit game isn't going to be played, because both Boston and Cleveland are tied at 93 wins. And if they both finish today with wins, then the Indians would have a chance to secure home field advantage by winning tomorrow. And I don't believe the National League game is going to be played.
I think all the scenarios are that the Indians will have to play the Tigers tomorrow, even if Detroit loses.
Here's Adam Eaton lined out on the first pitch of the game, and he takes outside 1-1. If Cleveland wins, they would have 94 wins, and if Boston loses, they can't have 94 wins. So Cleveland wouldn't have to.
They wouldn't have to play.
They wouldn't have to play that game.
Okay.
2-1. And this one, Luke Schaefer coming in, has to play it on a hop, and Eaton has a soft single to left, the first Chicago hit. And by the way, I've been handed a card. Ethan, our outstanding stats guy, says we've researched back to 1988, when in reality Ethan has researched back to 1988. We don't have a staff here. We don't want to give people the wrong idea. We got one guy who does our research.
And he does a great job.
He does. And it's the first time since 1988 at least that a major league game had an inside the park home run on the first pitch of the game.
Wow.
And we were here to see it.
Now, who was that player? Does it say who that player was?
I don't know.
I guess
Ethan didn't have that for me. Probably Rhett Butler. Oh boy, Eaton slipped as he stepped on the bag. It has been raining here, and let's hope Eaton's all right. Stepped on the bag, and you can imagine the bag is slippery and all that with the precipitation that's been falling. Out of right center field, and Buxton lopes over. I think you're like me.
now with Buxton out there, the ball's hitting the air, and your first assumption is it's going to be caught.
You expect it to be caught. Absolutely right. Either to his right or to his left.
You know, that's one area, though, where the Twins have to improve next year. The defense, in particular the outfield defense, has been terrible this year. You know, you make a mistake in the infield and it's a base, but if you make an error in the outfield, it's usually 2 bases. And you know, Kepler's shown signs of at least stability out there, and I think he's feeling more at home out there. Left field, the Twins have run a bunch of people through there. Robbie Grossman's had some issues out in left field. Schaefer is the superior defensive left fielder, and of course they're playing out there now because Eddie Rosario is hurt. Just outside, ball 1.
Change up right there, just missing.
You know, the year started with Miguel Sano being run out to right field, and that was not.
That didn't work out.
That didn't work out. Juan Minaya warming up. He may get the 4th inning. Down low, 2-0. Twins have done Jose Barrios a wonderful thing here this afternoon. They've given him a comfortable lead to work with.
That's why I said now he's got to attack. Don't nitpick. Go right after him. And he's falling behind.
3-0 now with Jose Abreu on deck.
I mean, I'm not talking about throwing the ball right down the middle. I'm saying be more aggressive in the strike zone, both that 2-seamer and 4-seamer. He came back and struck out Avila when he fell behind 3-0 last inning.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4.
A second walk for Barrios.
So Cabrera will go to first, and Abreu will come up with 2 men aboard. Barrios hit him in the elbow, leading off the 2nd inning.
Barrios sitting at 99 RBIs on the year. Guy you want to get out right here.
Breaking ball misses, ball 1. And Murphy will hand deliver the baseball after Barrios misses again. And here comes Sano in from third base. Escobar starts to come in. Figures there are enough people on the mound. Quick trip to the mound. 25 balls, 24 strikes for Barrios. Barrios hit a batter, walked a batter to start the 2nd inning, but got the next 3 batters without anybody advancing, much less scoring. Now trying to pitch through this 2-out situation.
He's put himself into a fastball situation.
Missing inside 3-0. Morneau on deck. Now 50 pitches, split half and half between balls and strikes. That's to center, and it'll drive in Abreu's 100th run. A base hit on a 3-0 pitch, and Abreu's just driven in run number 100.
3rd straight season in his 3rd season with the White Sox that he's driven in 100 or more runs.
And now Escobar to the mound.
Well, he fell behind, had to come in with a fastball. Abreu, fastball running in on him. He hits that ball to left center, and Eaton scoring.
Given the start that Abreu had, 100 runs batted in is a pretty substantial accomplishment. And now here is Morneau. He drew a walk in the 2nd inning. 2 down. Barrios trying to do some damage control here in the third. There's a breaking ball that hits the corner. Missed the fastball over the inside corner, 1-1.
I'm going to be honest, from time to time, I watch Barrios. It looks like he's trying to guide that ball into that strike zone rather than letting it go.
Tapper left side, and Sano fires across the diamond to end the inning. A couple of singles, a walk, a run for the White Sox. It's still 5-1. Season, and our timeless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. I was just relating this to some folks in Kansas City the other day. On this day in 2004, the Twins game against Cleveland is suspended with the score tied at 5-all after 11 innings because the grounds crew had to have time to prepare the field for a University of Minnesota football game that Saturday night. The Metrodome, of course, had 3 tenants, and the Twins would have to play Saturday morning games 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, there's a time.
There's a curfew, right? And so we ran into that. Twins' magic number was dwindling at the time, and we couldn't complete a game that I don't believe that game would have clinched a division title for the Twins, but it was completed the next day. 2-0. And then there's this from my memory. The last time the Twins finished a season here in Chicago back in 1999, the game ended in a tie. There's a pop-up, deep second, short right, and he bellers out the call, and Murphy's retired. But the game ended in a tie because of weather, and so the Twins' one-loss record that year is a game short because there was a tie on the last day of the season. There's Logan Schaefer.
Schaefer jumped on the first pitch, got a base hit in his first at bat on a fastball. Schaefer heading home to Arizona after the ball game today. His wife is expecting in about 3 days, he said. So he's going to go home and be a daddy for the first time.
It's foul. And to that end, the rain has stopped, so we, in a season that has had so many rain delays, we're happy to report that we don't think we'll have one here today, so Schaefer can make his flight.
A lot of players are heading out of Chicago here to go home wherever their destination is.
And Schaefer waves at strike 2.
And another breaking ball gets another swing and a miss.
And strikeout number 4 in the ball game for Chris Sale.
Byron Buxton to the plate. And our final Carsoup.com trivia question of the year. Which Twins player has the most career hits in the last game of the season? Well, just throw a dart. I mean, how... So somebody had a 4-hit game or a 5-hit game on the last day of the season, and we're supposed to know that? Ball 1. Huh. Oh, it's career hits on the last day of the season. 1 hopper.
Somebody that played a long time. Rod Carew.
Buxton retired. The 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're wondering why today is always the saddest day of the year for me, it's that. Being able to be at the ballpark and see fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, and just the joy that this game brings to so many people, even in a terribly disappointing year like this year.
I agree.
Here's Todd Frazier to lead off the Chicago 4. First pitch foul back. Frazier lined out to Sano his first time up. And Barrios, who had a 1-2-3 first inning, would like to have one of those here in the 4th. Another foul. This is a day for goodbyes. And goodbyes can be kind of painful at times. And I suspect that it is a little painful for Philly fans to say goodbye to Ryan Howard, who's had 20-some home runs this year, but he's not going to be back with the Phillies. Mark Teixeira has announced his retirement. An awkward swing, but Frazier stays alive. They played baseball in Atlanta at Turner Field for 20 years, and they're moving to a new ballpark next year. Kurt Suzuki, very likely playing or in a Twins uniform for the last time today. And Barrios has fooled Frazier twice, but he's hung in there to get a piece.
We just saw the emotional home run that Matt Holliday hit for the Cardinals.
Right.
You know, that teary-eyed. You know, they're not going to pick. They say they're not going to pick up his option. Is his career done? Will he end up somewhere else?
It's just me, but that's different. I mean, Holliday, you know, played for the Rockies, played for the A's, found a home in St. Louis. But like Ryan Howard, he was the Phillies through a World Championship year. Sharply hit, knocked down. Polanco comes up firing, safe at first. Frazier just beat it out.
Well, Polanco, he did everything he could. He got his body in front of it and then picked it up and threw it across the diamond, but Frazier hustled at the infield hit.
It'll be an error on Polanco.
Oh, boy. The ball kind of came up on him a little bit. I think Paul wants to take a look at that.
Left foot out of the dugout. And there'll be no challenge. Leadoff single, or excuse me, leadoff error, allowing Frazier to reach, and now Avila.
You know, the official scoring here, I'm sorry, is not good. Rosie is not good. If I'm a pitcher, I don't, you know, that ball came up on him. He got in front of the ball. He did everything he could, but kind of a homer over there.
Here is Avila, struck out swinging in a key spot in the second inning. Now tapped wide to first. Well, there was a play here 2 nights ago. Right. And Tyler Duffy would be the first to tell you he doesn't need any more earned runs than he's legitimately allowed this year. And there were a couple in the first inning on a ball that Byron Buxton usually puts in his back pocket. Right. And instead it was ruled a triple. 1 strike to Avila. Rios with the benefit, he hopes, of pitching to the bottom of the Chicago lineup here. And of course, on the subject of goodbyes, the last regular season game for David Ortiz at Fenway Park, its celebration or whatever muted a little bit because the Red Sox are in the playoffs, and the Red Sox fans will be able to see Ortiz play at least for a little while. 1-1.
They have Dick Enberg, you know, that is no longer going to be announcing baseball games.
He, like Vin Scully, a Ford Frick Award winner.
Bill Brown.
Bill Brown of the Astros did his last game the other day. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. And there is I think you know better obviously than I think there is a unique relationship, baseball players on a team, because you spend so much time together starting in February, and you legitimately see more of the people in the clubhouse, not just the players, than you do of family members. How many can they get here? Escobar just barely gets the out at second base, 1 down. Avila reaches on a fielder's choice. Not too early to start planning your 2017 celebrations at Target Field. Target Field suites are available for single game rental for groups of 16 to 150 plus. You can enjoy a climate controlled experience, which means it's heated in the spring and fall and air conditioned in the hot summer months, and a fantastic view of the Twins game with food and beverage included. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS to schedule your suite at Target Field. Now Carlos Sanchez. Ball 1.
That's up there. Who's going to want it? Vargas.
Come down, and Vargas with the catch. 2 down. You know, you infamously addressed the fans at the last home game of 1986, and you made the prophetic announcement. Hey, if we can have a good year next year, we can bring a World Series back to Minnesota. And we all know what happened. But what you didn't know at the time was that was going to be the last time you were in uniform with Mickey Hatcher, who you knew as a friend. And
still a friend.
That's right. Ray Fontenot. I'm just looking through the list here of guys who were on the team in '86 but weren't in '87. Ron Washington, there's another one. You know, you don't know when you get to this point of the season.
Well, Wash was in spring training with us. He just didn't make the club.
Right. But you don't know when you end the season, this band of brothers that you have in the clubhouse. Even in good years, there's going to be some guys that aren't going to be back the next year.
Right. I think you could look at every club 5 years, down the road. How many are together still?
Right. 1 strike to the number 9 batter, J.B. Shuck. Missing inside 1-1. You can't even really look at this Twins team that we're finishing the season with and saying, well, I wonder how many of these guys are going to be on the team next year, because this is kind of a patched together September ball club. A lot of key guys haven't been playing. Guys like Mauer and Rosario and Plouffe, and pitchers Hughes and Perkins. But there's necessarily going to be a lot of change on the roster come opening day next year. High fly, short right field. Kepler started back, now coming in. He's got it. And Barrios has a better 4th inning.
Well, here we are. We're up 5-1. The Twins are, and you are hereby circled. Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, bring your Circle Me signs. You may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. And we love you too.
And the official scorer has changed the scoring on Frazier's ground ball, now giving him a base hit, take the error away from Polanco, who will lead off the 5th inning. Polanco with a sacrifice fly, one of 2 fly balls he's hit against Chris Sale.
I thought that was a right call, because that ball came up on him. He did everything he could to knock that ball down.
0-2. Polanco, Grossman, and Sano here in the 5th inning.
As we wind down, Dick, let's talk a little bit about the MVP in the American League. Do you have someone that stands out to you?
I do, and he probably won't win the award, but I can't think of a player who's more valuable to his team than Adrian Beltre of the Rangers.
Yeah, Beltre having a very good year, but I like Mookie Betts.
Okay. Rangers have the best record in the American League, 95 wins. They'll have home field advantage up to and through the World Series because of the All-Star game, and I don't know where that team would be without Beltre. I think he makes other players on that team better just with his presence.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Well, then why are you giving your MVP
Because
award?
I like Boston. I like what they've been able to do this year, their offense, and I think it's led by the leadoff hitter Mookie Betts in 67 multi-hit games, hitting .320. Only Altuve hitting better in the American League. He has scored 122 runs.
And I'll grant you that. So even if
total bases 359, that's the most. And Polanco goes down on strikes. And Chris Sale picking up his 5th strikeout. I think there's a handful of names. You got right there, good changeup right there, good location. But you could also talk about David Ortiz.
Yeah.
What a way to finish for him.
The Red Sox, though, for me, they score so many runs. Red Sox on the season scored 877 runs. To put that in
almost as many as we gave up.
Texas has got a good lineup, right? I mean, they got 95 wins. They got a great lineup. The Red Sox have scored more than 100 runs more than the Rangers on the season. So, I guess the counterpoint to your argument would be they'd still score a lot of runs even without Mookie Betts.
I don't know. They scored 122 times. You take him out, there's your 100 difference right there.
3-1 now to Robbie Grossman. Hey, this isn't it's a championship.
We don't get to vote anyway,
no.
So what the heck? We can talk about it.
And again, tomorrow we can't do that. I'm not calling you. You're not calling me.
Heck no.
Grossman taps it to short. Tim Anderson has a play, and he makes it 2 down.
I'm going to call you tomorrow just for the heck of it.
Yeah, good luck. I'm going to change my number. Get ready for MLB postseason, where all that matters is October. The NLDS starts October 7th on FS1. 2 down, and here's Sano. It's not a voting thing, but it's a championship, a batting championship in the National League. And DJ LeMahieu sitting down a fraction of a point ahead of David Murphy, who's hurt. What do you think of that?
We had that kind of with Alan Anderson
Yeah.
when he won the ERA title. He decided not to. I'm sure he asked around. What should I do? As Alan Anderson did to us. I believe it was 1988. I believe.
Yeah.
Was the year. And we said it was up to you. Ted Williams on the day that he could have sat, but he was right at 400 or 401.
Right. 399.6 or whatever. They would have rounded it up to 400.
Right.
And his manager, I believe it was Joe Cronin at the time, said, "Hey, look, it's a great year. You want to sit?" And instead, he played both ends of a doubleheader. Went 6 for 8.
Right.
Finished at 406.
406. Yeah.
Sano clobbered a 3-run home run that busted the game open in the 3rd inning. Now it's 3-1, and Sale has had problems with Sano in the past. Walked him in the 1st, fell behind him in the 3rd. Now he's fallen behind him again here in the 5th. Now,
big swing by Sano. Take a look at Sano right here, almost left the ground. Big swing and miss. So he'll go after him again.
And a foul back. I understand why a player would say, you know what, I'm going to win the batting title. I'm not going to play. It's not like it's an uncommon occurrence in Colorado to have a batting championship, but boy, you'd like to have the guy say, look, I want a Chris Sale. He wanted the ball today. He wanted to. There's a call, 3rd strike. You'd like a player to say, you know what, I want to be there for my teammates, see if we can win a ball game.
two fans of the game will be coming up here shortly. The Twins have a 5-1 lead, and Adam Eaton will lead things off against Jose Barrios. First pitch line to left. Schaefer is there to make the catch, and another first pitch line out by Adam Eaton. There, Mountain Dew fans of the game. More fathers and at least I presume it's father and son. It could be uncle and nephew. What do I know?
Well, good to see Twin fans here.
One down, and now Tim Anderson.
I can guarantee you one thing. That little kid that we showed last night that was just smiling and smiling. I hear wherever he's at today, he's still smiling.
Yeah. Anderson 0 for 2, and now it's 1-1. Light rain is starting again here.
Yeah, they said it was going to be kind of off and on today.
That was a girl last night. Her father caught again, me presuming it's the father. It could be an uncle. Caught the foul ball yesterday, and she had this petrified look on her face, frozen for about 20 seconds. Inside, and it's 2-2.
We're sitting right behind the Twins dugout.
Pitch count is reasonable enough. The Twins hope that they can get Barrios through 6 innings. Strike call, and Anderson strikes out. 2 down.
Second time that Anderson has taken a call third strike, and Barrios striking out his third batter. So getting Anderson for the second time. Hey, it's the last day of the season. Let's go. Swing the bat.
Now the integrity of Fox Tracks needs to be maintained all the way through to the end of the season. Here's Cabrera. The 6th inning thing has been one of the disappointments for Barrios. In his 13 prior starts, he's only gotten 4 outs after the 5th inning. That's Luke behind third. Sano chasing it, and Sano can't quite get there.
Well, the big man caught up to it. He just maybe overran it. Nice effort right there by Sano. Take a look at Sano right there.
Just out of his reach.
Yep.
1-1 to Melky Cabrera. 2-1. Atlanta still leading Detroit 1-0 in the 5th inning. Leo Tehran going for the Braves against Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander. And now a ground ball past Sano, who's playing well off the line. A 2-out single for Melky Cabrera.
Good hitting by Cabrera right there. That 2-seamer down and away. Didn't try to pull it. You can see him just hit that ball the other way. You see where Sano's playing off the line. He can't get it. And the 4th hit off of Barrios. All of them singles.
Abreu got one. He drove in the Chicago run with a single his last time up. At the knee, strike 1. Sox are 1 for 9 with men on base. The 1, Abreu's single in the 3rd. Inside.
Well, Abreu coming over from Cuba. Signed by the White Sox in 2013.
Breaking ball misses. 2-1. Barrios, 83 pitches, 45 strikes. 3-1.
I mentioned coming in, Barrios in his 53 1/3 innings, averaging 20 pitches an inning.
Which
you want some quick, you need to, right around 15. Started off good, 11 pitches in the first inning, but then 20, 23, 16 last inning.
Foul. And that certainly helps explain why he hasn't gotten many outs in the 6th inning. The pitch count is elevated to the point where Twins have taken him out after 5 a number of times. Took him out after 4 2/3 innings in his last start.
He's had only 2 ground ball outs, 9 fly ball outs to go with his 3 strikeouts.
In his Kansas City start, he didn't strike out a batter. He's gotten a handful of them, 3 of them so far here today. And a 3-2 pitch. And Abreu walks, and now they're 2 men aboard with 2 down for Morneau. Follow Twins Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize that bat to feature the Twins. And stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Plus, subscribe to At-Bat Premium to get the MLB.TV Game of the Day radio broadcast, in-game highlights, enhanced game day features, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com At-Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. And I say that fully knowing that there are 4.5 innings left in the season.
And there's that took you 26 seconds that time. You read it quick.
Well, that's a good time, though, because Neil Allen came to the mound. So did John Ryan Murphy. And here is Morneau. Again, this is a point in the game in terms of outs recorded that the Twins took Barrios out of the game. And now the White Sox have 2 men on, 2 out with Morneau at the plate. Slice to the corner, deep and foul, 1 strike. Morneau with a walk and a ground ball.
Looks like Ryan O'Rourke starting to loosen up in the Twins bullpen.
And now you look, and this will be the 88th pitch of the inning. Two strikes to Morneau. Ryan O'Rourke under the tutelage of Eddie Guardado celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
Oh, and 2 to Morneau. Breaking ball, lifted foul. Toronto leading Boston 1-0 in the 5th. Atlanta leading Detroit 1-0 in the 5th. Baltimore leading the Yankees 5-1 in the 7th. If both Baltimore and Toronto win, it doesn't matter what Detroit does. Popped up, and again a foul ball out of play. Tigers have just 2 hits against Tehran at Turner Field. Oh, and 2. Now they're breaking ball. And another foul ball. White Sox left 2 on in the 2nd, 2 on in the 3rd when they scored their run. And now Barrios trying to leave 2 aboard out there pitching to Morneau with 2 strikes. Taken down and in.
Went for the changeup right there, low. You have to pitch 5 innings to qualify for a win. And there's the totals right there again. Another inning with 20 or more pitches.
Tapper And Escobar has a play, and he makes it. And the White Sox leave 2 on in the 5th. It's 5-1 Twins. Here they've got a 5-1 lead as we go to the 6th inning. And we'll take a look at Cy Young hopefuls of this group. Who do you like?
I like Rick Porcello as #1, and then I like Zach Britton. 47 saves and 40 save opportunities. So those 2 guys on the left. How about yourself?
I would pick Porcello, and I probably would pick Britton there too. Justin Verlander's been outstanding in the 2nd half, but it looks like his team might not get into the playoffs. That should enter into it, I know, but you know, Jay Happ, 20 wins, a great year, great earned run average. But yeah, you know, Porcello's leading the league in wins. He's also in the top 5 in earned run average, innings pitched. Here is Vargas, and there is strike 1 from a new Chicago pitcher, Minaya.
Juan Minaya coming in. He made his major league debut against the Twins back on the 1st of September. Just a September call-up.
One and one to the backstop.
Minaya making just his 11th appearance out of that bullpen. 10 innings, 10 hits allowed, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Vargas over 2, a ground out and a strikeout. High fly to center field. J.B. Shuck with the catch, 1-1. That'll bring up Kepler.
You know, one thing about Porcello too, it's the quality starts, and that's important. He's got 26 of 33 quality starts. Even though Boston has that offensive club you talked about, the Red Sox are 25-8 when he starts a ball game.
It'd be one thing if he had his 22 wins with an ERA of 4 or something like that, but he doesn't. He's among the league leaders. Here is Kepler, dropped a double down the left field line, his last time up. Strike 1.
As far as Zach Britton, I mean, an ERA of 0.55, 47 for 47 and save opportunities, given up only 4 earned runs in 65 1/3 innings. He's nasty.
Strike 2. You know, what Britton has done is he's allowed the Orioles to contend, and now they're leading the Yankees 5-1 in the 7th. If they win that game, they're in the playoff field. With a mediocre lineup, they hit a lot of home runs, but in terms of batting average, and Kepler gets hit, they'll go to first. A mediocre pitching staff. Their starting pitching isn't, you know, certainly that of the glory days of Palmer and McNally and some of the great pitching staffs that they've had.
Anaya just trying to overthrow that fastball. Gets the stomach area of Kepler.
But the Oriole closer has been so good that they have a lead, and the setup guys, one of the possible rare exceptions yesterday when the bullpen had some issues, but the setup guys have done their job.
Tell you what, I thought it was smart on Baltimore's part to re-sign Darren O'Day. He's one of the best setup men in baseball.
1-0 to Escobar. Two and 0.
Anaya coming over from the Houston Astro organization. Back in June, White Sox claimed him off waivers.
3-0 now to Escobar. Murphy on deck. White Sox wearing throwback uniforms. These are the ones they wore back when they had the winning ugly team in 1983. They won the old American League West. I say the old West because it was the West and the East. There was no Central. 3-1 to Escobar.
Well, the White Sox at one time were thinking about bringing shorts.
Well, they wore them.
Yeah.
In the 70s for a while. 3-1. Escobar takes ball 4. Now Kepler will go to second. And that'll bring up Ryan Murphy. Murphy's 0 for 2, a ground ball and a fly ball. Getting a run in the first. If you just joined us, Byron Buxton hit the first pitch of the game for an inside the park home run. And then later, Twins got 4 runs in the third, 3 of them on a Miguel Sano home run. Chance to add on here in the 6th against Manaya. 1-1.
Yeah, Chris Sale worked the first 5 innings. He gave up 6 runs, 5 runs, or 6 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs.
And Avila having a tough time with his tall right-hander.
Maya's all over the place.
2-1. Jacob Turner getting loose in case this inning gets uglier.
Nye out of the Dominican Republic, 6'4". Signed by the Astros in 2009.
Zipped inside, nearly hit him. 3-1.
And he had a history of control issues in the minor leagues. 508 innings in the minor leagues, 255 walks.
That's too many.
That's too many.
Murphy swings through, strike 2. And Murphy takes a walk to load them up for Logan Schaefer.
Back-to-back walks.
And Robin Ventura coming out of the dugout. He's seen enough with Benaya. Got the first man, Vargas, on a tall fly ball to center, then a hit batter and a pair of walks.
I don't know if there are going to be any more pitching changes, but could this be the last time that Robin Ventura takes a pitcher out?
I hope not. Wonderful man,
Yes.
great gentleman, and the game is better with Robin Ventura in it. Already leading 5-1, threatening to break it open. And Turner comes in with no margin for error.
Yeah, Jacob Turner making his 18th appearance. He did start a couple games for the White Sox. 32 hits in 22 innings pitched, 15 walks and 16 strikeouts. Turner in his first season with the White Sox. Former #1 pick by the Tigers back in 2009.
They're all over the place. You're wondering why the Tigers have run this, had a nice little run here with division titles. They draft guys, they trade them off. Anthony Miller, another one. He's pitching out of the Cleveland bullpen. This one fouled off of Avila's mask. 1 strike. Andrew Miller. Did I say Anthony Miller? Who's Anthony Miller?
Is Andrew's brother.
Oakland drafted him and traded him, I think. 1 strike to Schaefer. Anthony Miller, where'd I come up with that? The ball hit to the right field corner, but with some hook. I asked Ron Coomer once, and of course Ron's getting excited for the Cubs postseason run. We hope it's a run. We hope it's a marathon, not a sprint. But you know, because Ron, when he worked with us, was one of my go-to guys asking about hitting. He said, "How come some guys, when they hit a ball like Schaefer just hit, the ball hooks, and sometimes it doesn't?" Did he go? So, yeah, well, Schaefer is done on strikes. Didn't think he went. And that's out number 2. Here comes Buxton.
And Turner comes in and gets a big strikeout for the White Sox.
And when Ron told me, and Roy Smalley can talk about it too on the postgame show if he'd like, if I remember the comment, it was these guys, you hear the phrase keeping their hands inside the ball, and that's what keeps the ball from hooking. I think Schaefer's right. I'm not sure he went on that one. Here's Buxton. An inside the park home run on the game's first pitch. A double, 2 runs scored.
Ball one. Buxton so far embracing his role today as the leadoff batter. Fouled away. Saw him score 3 runs last night, hitting in the bottom of the order, and 2 runs here today. To do more damage here in this 6th inning at bat. Up around the hands, 2-1.
Turner with a good fastball, hard-breaking ball. Yeah, he went from the Tigers. He made some appearances for the Tigers, but then they traded him to Miami for the Anibal Sanchez trade. Also, Omar Infante came over to Detroit.
3-1. No place to put Buxton. And Polanco on deck. Buxton already has 1 grand slam this year. Earlier, as I say, earlier this month, but now we're into October. And ball 4. A run will be walked in. And Buxton gets an RBI, his 38th.
His 2nd of the ball game. As Kepler scores.
And now Polanco. A hit batter and 3 walks. And at least 1 insurance run for the Twins.
Polanco is hitting as a left-handed hitter for the first time.
A home run in last night's game. Down and in, ball 1. And Turner can't throw strikes. Was lucky to have Schaefer called out on a check swing. Just walked Buxton, and now it's 2-0 to Polanco. Polanco, the 7th man to bat. Only 1 ball's been put in play. There's a strike. Foul, 2-2.
I believe that's still Ryan O'Rourke in the bullpen, so Barrios' afternoon is probably done. Barrios with 93 pitches in the 5 innings, but only 1 run allowed.
Two and 2. Chopped off the plate, and Abreu feeds Turner out there just ahead of Polanco. Twins don't get ahead, but the White Sox give them a run. It's 6-1.
They've done it. Like the 1969 Mets, it's the impossible dream revisited.
Vin Scully signing off the year after his final broadcast. Oddly enough, against the Giants. He grew up as a little boy a Giants fan, and he said today that he can cheer for the Giants after this year, after broadcasting Dodger games for 67 years. And the guy who was the gold standard to me in broadcasting, Dick Enberg, whether it was tennis, football, basketball, baseball, he too retiring. And Bill Brown, who started 30 years ago with the Astros, in part because he didn't get hired in Minnesota for the job I ended up getting. And Bill broadcast briefly with the Cincinnati Reds and was interested in coming to Minnesota and landed in Houston, and he too ending his great broadcasting career. One strike to Todd Frazier. Ryan O'Rourke is the Twins pitcher.
Ryan O'Rourke making his 26th relief appearance. He worked here on Friday night, one shutout inning.
Frazier, Avila, and Sanchez due to hit here for the White Sox. Twins have a pull shift on for Frazier. And on this day when we're wrapping up a season, and of course some teams lucky enough to go into the postseason, and there's a lot of sub-stories to what's going on here today. Aaron Sanchez is no-hitting the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park through 6 innings.
Yeah, where's all that offense we were talking about earlier?
I guess Mookie Betts isn't having a very good day, is he? You know, there have been no hitters at the very end of a season a lot of times. And didn't Mike Scott pitch a no-hitter in a clinching game for the Astros years and years ago on the last day of the season?
Yeah, I'm thinking Mike Witt did too for the Angels.
But that wasn't in a clinching thing.
Right.
1986, Mike Scott pitched the Astros into the playoffs, a clinching no-hitter on the last day of the season. Well, I don't even know if it was the last day of the season, but it was in the last days of the season. And so far Sanchez has thrown a no-hitter at Fenway Park. Full count here to Frazier. Change up got him, or that splitter. It's become such a devastating swing and miss pitch for O'Rourke.
And what makes it, all he does, I've talked to him, just split his fingers apart and then make it look like a fastball, and you can see the drop that he has right there. Talked before, when, you know, O'Rourke came in last year, it was like slider, slider, slider. And now he's mixing in his fastball along with that splitter, and then he still has the slider.
Alex Avila will hit with one down. Ethan, our staff, our research staff. That was game number 153 against the Giants back in '86, so it wasn't the last game of the season. The Blue Jays are hitting in the 7th. They have the only run and the only hits in the game. Giants leading the Dodgers 5-1 in the 6th. Orioles leading the Yankees 5-1 in the 8th. Looks like that game will finish before the others. And if the Orioles win, they're in. If the Blue Jays win, they're in. Down and away, 1-1. And Atlanta leading Detroit 1-0. The 6th inning. Breaking ball missing up and in.
Speaking of teams that didn't go in, I know you watched a little bit of that Seattle game last night. My goodness, they kept fighting back. And the Oakland A's ended up scoring late and winning.
Driven foul. There was a buzz at Safeco Field last night, and that was a fun ending to watch. The Mariners were eliminated with that loss.
Sun is out. Beautiful day now.
And Avila swings and misses. O'Rourke has a couple of strikeouts.
That might have been the slider right there. So O'Rourke comes in, gets back-to-back punch outs. Hit that splitter again or the slider. Yeah, and more the slider.
Here's Sanchez. Got the partly cloudy skies here. Sanchez 0 for 2, a fly to center and a pop up to first. Strike one, the outside corner. And a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Sanchez now hitting as a right-handed hitter. He's hitting only 175 as a right-handed hitter. Only 227 as a left-handed hitter.
Half swing, but he went. And Murphy steps into fair territory, finds Vargas, throws him out at first base. Strikeout snapper, mow him down inning going back about 15 years. The game with the Twins in front in the finale.
And what a way to start. First pitch of the ball game. Byron Buxton hitting it over the head of the center fielder Garcia. And Buxton with an inside to park home run. Twins took a 1-0 lead. And then in the third inning, 5 hits, highlighted by Miguel Sano's 25th home run, a big 3-run home run. And Jose Barrios, even though he threw 93 pitches in 5 innings, got lined up to win his 3rd major league game.
Robbie Grossman will lead off the 7th for the Twins. Omar Narvaez, who caught the first 2 games of this series, picking up this game in the 7th inning in place of Alex Avila. Ball 1. Hit to right center field. Adam Eaton drifts into the gap, makes the catch. All right, let's go back to our last Firesoup.com trivia
go wrong
question.
with probably Rod Carew or Tony Oliva.
All right, now let's give it a shot.
Who would be? Kirby Puckett.
16 career hits. Huh. Okay.
That's a heck of a question to end on.
At least in trivia, we're really limping into the off season. That was maybe our worst trivia question of the year. Only because
that's coming from the truck. Ian had nothing to do with that.
Ethan?
Ethan, yeah.
No. Now, in the truck, they're claiming there's nothing wrong with the question. It was our answers that were pathetic. So no, check swing 1-1.
I disagree. We were guessing. A terrible question.
We've had better. Can we agree on that? We've had better trivia questions. Grounded to third, backhanded by Frazier. 2 down. And it'll bring up Vargas. Vargas, strikeout in the first, a ground out in the third, and a fly ball in the sixth. And to short right field, where Carlos Sanchez awaits. Throws it almost directly up the foul line. And the Twins go down 1-2-3 in the seventh. Every Sunday afternoon we've done this, and we're happy to do it once again here in Chicago, bringing you God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Major League ballparks across America each Sunday, the singing of God Bless America is performed in support of our country and our men and women stationed overseas. Please welcome Gina Glockson for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
And for the last time, greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. David Ortiz, playing in his last regular season game, is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. 20-year career, and finishing it off with arguably his best year.
Yep. Gonna go to postseason too, so that's cool.
3 world championships with the Red Sox. J.B. Shuck will lead things off against Ryan O'Rourke. And a fastball on the outside corner.
all the things we said earlier about Buxton gaining in confidence on the pitching side, I think we see that with O'Rourke. I think he's confident he can get guys out, right-handers and left-handers out, with the stuff he brings to the mound. And a lot of swings and misses will tend to build your confidence.
Well, and there's that split finger right there. That just, you know, he added a pitch, so.
He's thrown 12 pitches in this, 17 pitches in this game, and he's gotten 6 swings and misses. 7. And he has struck out all 4 batters he's faced. 1 down. Fox tracks presented by Carrier. O'Rourke is just cutting through the White Sox here.
Perfect spot. Look at all 3 of them. Down and away.
So as the Twins have kind of had open auditions on so many levels in the pitching department, here's O'Rourke. Taylor Rogers, I think, is another one who stepped in, done a nice job from the left side of the bullpen. And if you want to pencil them in for spots next year, you do so at your own risk. But I think they've Paul Molitor, Neil Allen have seen some things they like from those 2 guys. Buddy Boshears too.
Yes.
Swing and a miss by Eaton.
O'Rourke came into the ball game 20 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings.
Alex Wimmer's getting loose. Career high in strikeouts already for O'Rourke. Down and in, 2-1. You know, during the break, it was kind of a melancholy feeling for me. I experienced it last Sunday at home at Target Field, the last time that fans saying "Take me out to the ball game." I don't like that. I really had a sad feeling at Target Field last Sunday. Here's a pop-up, and Murphy watches it spin over the screen. Right into a beer cup. Perfectly spotted right into the middle of a beer cup.
That is awesome, right in front of us.
And sad to say, cost of a baseball is what, $6-7. Cost of a beer is probably $1 or $2 higher than that.
And that was a full one.
2 and 2. So somebody got a baseball, but cost them $8. We're in the bottom of the 8th at Yankee Stadium, and the Orioles look to be in pretty good shape with Zach Britton ready to close one out if need be. They're leading 5-1. Wouldn't expect a guy who's given up, what, 3 runs all year to give up 4 in his last outing of the year. And Atlanta still leading Detroit 1-0, bottom of the 7th. Toronto leading 1-0, bottom of the 8th. The guy Mookie Betts is batting against Aaron Sanchez right now. There's Eaton drawing a walk with 1 out in the 7th.
And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Paul Molitor to the mound, and O'Rourke striking out the first 4 batters he faces, walking Eaton, and he'll be done for this game and for this year. And he can be very happy with how he's pitched this year.
Sanchez still has his no-hitter pitching in the bottom of the 7th at Fenway Park. And the Tigers, who kind of fell flat yesterday in Atlanta, are having a tough time against Julio Teheran again here this afternoon.
Alex Wimmer's coming in to relieve Ryan O'Rourke, making his 16th relief appearance.
Tim Anderson takes ball 1 in the dirt.
And Wimmers has pitched better as of late over his last 6 appearances, covering 8 1/3 innings, so he's allowed 1 earned run. Couple walks in the last 8 1/3 innings with 6 strikeouts.
Wimmer's getting a chance as the Twins have backed away from Ryan Presley. Presley's only pitched twice in the last 2 weeks. And they're trying to protect him a little bit after, frankly, overusing him for most of the season. And now Wimmers is having a hard time at the strike zone. There's 1 out. And the beef in the Chicago lineup is due up behind Anderson. And a strike, 3-1. Twins got a run in the top of the 6th inning without a hit. They got a hit batter and 3 walks. The White Sox so far have just 4 singles in the ballgame. Fouled away, 3-2. Rogers getting loose. Switch hitter Cabrera is on deck. Right-handed batter Abreu, and then the first left-handed batter is Morneau. The Twins hope he'll hit next inning. Driven to left, hit hard, and Schaefer tries to put a decoy on, and it worked as Eaton stopped at second, and he'll be held at third. That was an effective decoy by Logan Schaefer. He turned as if he was going to make the catch, and he stopped Eaton dead in his tracks short of second base.
Yeah, Eaton and his speed. You know, he did slow down, and that allowed him to stop at third base. But Anderson jumping all over that high fastball and hammering it to the warning track in left field. And Schaefer looks like he's going to get underneath it, but it's well over his head. And Eaton did stop for a second and stopped at third. But a double for Anderson is 22nd of the year. First extra base hit for the White Sox.
And now Melky Cabrera. Walking a single his last 2 times up. Twins playing the infield back. They'll be glad to give up a run to get an out. And Wimmers falls behind. Ramirez has broken up Sanchez's no-hitter. Perhaps there's a review going on. 1-0 to Cabrera. And Wimmers is creating a mess here in the 7th inning.
Wimmers this year started at Double-A Chattanooga, moved up to Rochester, Triple-A. Total 56 2/3 innings. He walked 25 between Double-A and Triple-A. So too many walks.
Nice stop by Vargas, and he finds Wimmers at the bag. A 2-hopper headed to the hole, but Vargas cut it off. Out number 2, run number 2 for the White Sox.
Yeah, Cabrera will get an RBI, his 86th of the year. And Anderson goes to third, but Vargas going to his right. And then a nice little throw over to Wimmers early enough where Wimmers can catch it and find the bag.
And 2 down for Abreu and a couple bases open. Avisail Garcia is already in the on-deck circle for Justin Morneau.
curious move by the White Sox. They haven't announced Garcia yet, but Twins were on the verge of bringing a left-hander in to face Morneau, and he's not even in the on-deck circle. One strike to Abreu. An RBI single, a walk, and he was plunked once.
Good changeup right there. That's what Wimmers has. Very good changeup. You can just control that fastball a little bit better. Makes that changeup that much better.
2 strikes to Abreu. And he missed inside. The home run challenge did not overturn Hanley Ramirez's home run, so the no-hitter's broken up, and more importantly, the game is tied now between Toronto and Boston. 1-2 to Jose Abreu. Got him. And Wimmers gave up a double to Anderson. The White Sox get just 1 in the 7th. Well, thank you, Tom, and thanks for your friendship and all your help this year as we brought 151 Twins games into living rooms and other rooms of the house. Kepler was slashing a single to left field, his second hit. We've seen Kepler over the course of the final weeks, month and a half of the season, give more hits to the left side of the field. The home runs haven't come as frequently, but I think long term we've seen Kepler show some encouragement that he can use the whole field.
Yeah, he got that little bloop double off of Sale in that 3rd inning, but right there got a pitch and just lined it in the left field. His second hit, first hit for the Twins since the 3rd inning.
And now Escobar takes a strike. One other game that we haven't talked about, but it's potentially going to be a big game, is the Cleveland-Kansas City game. The chopper right side. And Kepler is retired at second. He hesitated to let the ground ball get in front of him, and that cost him second base, 1 down.
And I think that's what Sanchez saw right there. So he got the foresight at second.
We'll bring up John Ryan Murphy. If the Indians hang on and win that game, the Royals will fall to 500 on the season. But more importantly, the Indians will have picked up their 94th win. And if Boston loses to Toronto, and again, they've just tied that game up, then there would not be that extra game unless Detroit needs it to pull into a wild card tie. And if Boston loses and the Tigers come back and win their game, which they can, it's late, but they're just down 1-0. So everything's kind of woven together. And if you're on the stadium crew at Detroit at Comerica Park tomorrow, you don't know whether you're working yet or not. Right. Fouled off a leg. 2 strikes. Chris Beck looks like he might pitch next for the White Sox. When that is, we don't know. Two strikes to John Ryan Murphy. Inside. Long hold, and now another pitch in the dirt. 2-2. Giants leading the Dodgers 5-1 in the 7th. And the Orioles are 1 out away from becoming a wild card team. They're leading the Yankees 5-2, 2 outs in the 9th. Fouled away. Turner about to throw his 28th pitch.
It's going to walk a strikeout. He's given up 1 hit, a single to Kepler.
Bounces it to Narvaez. There goes Escobar, and Murphy fouls it off his leg again. And he got in the back leg that time. So with 1 out in the 3-2 count, the Twins sent Escobar. They'll probably send him again here. Escobar doesn't go. It might be a good thing. Murphy swings and misses. He bluffed toward second, slammed down the brakes, 2 down, and that'll bring up Schaefer.
Second strikeout for Turner.
Nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know, the guts to say. You can catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's daily sports talk show. Speak for yourself. Weekdays at 4 p.m. Central. Here's Schaefer, a single and a run scored, then a couple of strikeouts. Chopper to second, right at Sanchez, and the Twins are done in the top of the 8th. All right, thank you, Tom. Baltimore Orioles are in. They beat the Yankees. They are the first wild card team in. And the Tigers got a leadoff double in the 8th, but didn't score. And so the Braves are batting bottom of the 8th with Atlanta leading 1-0. And so congratulations to Buck Showalter and the Orioles. The Blue Jays are tied in their game with the Red Sox. And Taylor Rogers comes in to pitch to the White Sox in the 8th.
Yeah, Taylor making his 57th relief appearance.
Big swing and a miss.
Walk to strikeout ratio to innings pitched, very good for Taylor Rogers. 16 walks, 3 intentional with 64 strikeouts in 60 1/3 innings pitched.
Avisail Garcia will hit. He was in the on deck circle in the 7th inning, and that's not his best swing of the year. 0-2.
Well, let's see if he's got one more in him.
0-2. Frazier will follow, then Narvaez. The Orioles going to the playoffs. Obviously, the Twins are not, but they have this much in common. They both proved, for those who needed more proof, that spring training results don't mean a thing. Twins had about as good a spring training as they've ever had in terms of health, in terms of promise and look on the field. There's a deep drive to right field. Kepler won't catch it. It's off the fence. And now Garcia digs for second. And here's Kepler's throw, not in time. A leadoff double for Garcia off the fence and right.
Garcia looked like he got a low fastball and just hit it sharply the other way. So for Garcia, his 18th double of the year.
And now Frazier with a runner at second, nobody out. Frazier 1 for 3. Got an infield hit in the 4th. Ball 1. Anyway, as good as the Twins looked in spring training and then lost their first 9 games and ended up setting a team record for losses, the Orioles had a terrible March. And now they're in the playoffs with 89 wins. Popped up right field. Kepler running toward the line and making a fair ball catch. Tagging and going to third is Garcia. With one down in the 8th, let's find Audra Martin for the last time.
Well, guys, Paul Molitor's been very complimentary of Taylor Rogers and his performances lately, but there's another guy on this bench who's a big fan of his, and that's Kurt Suzuki. I was talking to the catcher the other day about Taylor, and he says he really turned a page midway through the season when he stopped comparing himself to other guys, stopped worrying about if his stuff was good enough or if it, if there was other guys that were better than him. Just trusting that he is capable of going out and getting outs and being a big league pitcher. He said once Taylor really just trusted himself, he turned a corner. He also says one of the things that is great about Taylor Rogers is that he's one of those guys that's really quiet and really laid back, and it's those guys that make the fiercest competitors. So he might not be the most intimidating guy, but he definitely is intimidating when he gets to the mound and he trusts his stuff.
Well, thank you, Audrey. He's given up a run here in the 8th inning, but he has gotten a couple of outs, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, quick out right there of Narvis, who took over for Avila behind the plate. He gets the RBI, his 10th of the year. We got a 6-3 ball game.
2 down, and now Sanchez. Indians beat the Royals, so they have 94 wins, and the Red Sox need to win their game to try to win the 2nd seed in the playoff format. And Toronto's now just taken a 2-1 lead over Boston. Toronto, if they win, they're in. 1 strike to Sanchez. 2 strikes to Sanchez. to right. Playable for Kepler. White Sox get one back in the 8th. The Twins still lead by 3. A 6-3 lead, and if you're looking to keep your young ball player active this offseason, look no further than the Twins youth camps presented by the Select Heartland Chevy dealers. Camps are geared toward youth 7 to 14. They begin MEA weekend, continue through March of 2017. Instruction led by Twins personnel as well as top college and high school coaches. There's hitting drills, throwing lessons, and registrations now open at twinsbaseball.com/training.
Well, Chris Beck coming out of the bullpen. He worked here a couple nights ago. 1 shutout inning. Did give up 3 hits. And 1+ innings.
Buxton takes up and in. It's been a really good day for Byron Buxton. Look at Beck's numbers on the year. And Buxton started this game on the right foot, hitting an inside the park home run on the game's first pitch. 2-0.
Hey, look at Beck's numbers. 17 walks in 24 1/3 innings, 29 hits allowed.
Foul, 2-1. Tigers batting top of the 9th. Their season hanging in the balance. They're down 1-0. Two and 1. The Twins leadoff batter. Three and 1. Three and 2. And Buxton strikes out. 1 down.
Buxton striking out for the first time. Good low fastball right here. Buxton swings through it.
Here's Polanco.
I'm just looking at that National League with the Giants leading 5-1. The Cardinals are up 5-4, but if the Giants win, Cardinals are looking in too, as Detroit might be.
And a strike.
all the drama surrounding the wild card spots. The divisions have long been decided. You'll be watching a lot of postseason baseball, won't you?
Always do.
And I will too.
Because you just don't know. I mean, the Giants are getting in, but, you know, Giants, it's an even year. You have to think about that. They've had such an up and down season. And all of a sudden, they might sweep the Dodgers.
2 strikes to Polanco. You know, and then, what is it? Only 4 times in the last 26 years, the team with the best record in the major leagues won the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very fretful about that here in Chicago because they've had the Cubs, who from day one have been the best team in baseball. And the history would suggest that that's not going to, well, we know it won't matter at all come playoff time. It's a whole new season.
Yeah, it looks like right now the Cubs would play the winner of the Mets and the Giants if the Giants go in.
Two and 2. And a foul ball. You know that your rookie year, the Twins made the playoffs, were eliminated right away. Won it all with the Pirates in '79, won it all with the Twins in '87. Did you ever get to the doorstep on the season's last weekend and not get into the playoffs? Polanco dumps a single in front of Cabrera with 1 out.
No, the only time really, I think we won 94 ball games in Texas. We came in second, but I think that's the year Oakland won 102. So, I mean, it wasn't close, but we had a good ball club.
You know, the Twins kept things interesting and were in until the last weekend last year, but I'm just thinking about Detroit. They're 2 outs away now from not getting in, and you know, they're every year now for a long time they've come into the season with big expectations, big payroll, but with that come the big expectations, and to get right to the edge and finish a game short just has got to be crushing for you. Same too with the Cardinals. You can, teams like Kansas City can say, well, you know, we finished way back, but you know, we had so many injuries, and but to be that close, you know. One strike to Grossman. And a foul.
Ouch.
That got Narvaez.
Grossman foul tipping it. And a ricochet shot off of Narvaez. I think Major League or any catcher, they finally heal up around what, January? All the bruises leave. Then you go to spring training and start all over again.
The first thing they have you do is practice blocking balls on the dirt. Grossman lifts a foul fly over by the tarp, and no play for Frazier.
Yeah, it's off a pitching machine that throws about 100 miles an hour. Here, block this one.
Where will Kurt Suzuki be next year? Very likely not in a Twins uniform.
I think Grossman's left a good impression with the Twins.
Did he go? On the season's last day, he went.
Pat Holberg over at third base, the umpire.
Grossman goes back to the dugout his last at bat, and I don't think there was a chance in 10 that he actually offered at this pitch, but that's what Pat Holberg thinks of me.
Just turned his head and spat on the ground. He doesn't care what I think. Here's Sano.
Well, Sano got the big hit in the ball game off of Chris Sale, that 3-run home run in the 4-run third inning.
Ball one.
His 25th home run of the year.
Big swing and a miss, 1-1. Check swing, 2-1. Snow will go back home to the Dominican Republic. Polanco at first from the same hometown, San Pedro de Macorís. 2-1. And a hard ground ball through the hole on the right side. Polanco will round second and go to third. And we've seen Sano in the last week of the season use the whole field more. A sharp ground ball for a base hit. First and third, 2 down now for Vargas.
And again, when he makes contact, that ball just jumps off his bat. Fastball pretty much thigh high, and Sano hitting it sharply. Sanchez has no chance, but Polanco goes from first to third.
Tigers lost. They're out 1-0. They couldn't get a run against the Braves. So the Tigers will not get in, and there'll be just one team from the American League Central, the division champions Cleveland Indians, in the playoffs. Here's Vargas. Now there's still a chance that the Tigers will have to play tomorrow at home against the Indians, depending on what happens in that Toronto-Boston game. If Boston wins, then the Tigers have to suit up and play a game that doesn't mean anything for them. 1 strike to Vargas. Blue Jays leading Boston 2-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Down and away, 1-1. Bet you if you were walking around the streets of Detroit tomorrow and you wanted to go to a ball game, you could get a ticket for a real good price. One and one to Vargas. Foul back. Giants have added a couple of runs. They lead the Dodgers 7-1 in the 8th. Strikes out to end the inning and the threat. Twins hope that they're done hitting in 2016. Brandon Kinsler will try to save it.
Good shot.
Byron Buxton started the game with an inside the park home run. The Twins hope they're on the field for the last time. Gives us the opportunity to thank the people we get a chance to work with, both at home and on the road. We are blessed to work with the best TV people in the business. So they have made our jobs very, very enjoyable. Brandon Kintzler has emerged over the course of the season as the Twins closer.
I will ditto everything you just said right there. Kintzler worked in last night's ball game, got the Twins help Twins beat the White Sox 6-0. He threw 12 pitches, 8 for strikes. Had a couple strikeouts in a shutout inning.
J.B. Shuck takes a strike. The Twins struggling so much in the final weeks of the season that Kintzler hasn't gotten much work, and he had that rough outing against the Royals, but got the save. A good outing last night, and he hopes for a nice tidy outing to head into his offseason. Dribbled foul. 0-2. Missed up, and it's 1-2.
Now, Twins hoping that Glenn Perkins' rehab goes well and he's ready to be the closer again next year, I guess, on paper. But where does that put this guy right here that came to spring training, non-roster player looking for a job? He's done a good job as a closer.
Missed upstairs again, 2-2.
16 saves and 19 save opportunities. Started in AAA, got called up in early May. Never closed before in the big leagues, not with the Brewers.
Chopper to short. Polanco fires to get shot, one away. Well, they're going to show us what's next, and I'm curious to find out because I don't know. We're done after today. We'll be watching the playoffs. It's the Orioles and the Blue Jays in the American League wild card game on Tuesday, National League wild card game Wednesday, and then they really get down to business starting on Thursday. Here is Adam Eaton. Swing and a miss. You know, there are bullpen issues to be settled for the Twins, to be sure, for next year, but the starting pitching this year was so overwhelmingly bad. That's got to be priority number one for the new man when he comes in to try to address. When we did our radio thing on the Inside Twin show today, we talked about leadership and the need for leadership and how it can be imported. The Indians, to a man, talk about the impact Mike Napoli has had in that clubhouse, on the field, beyond his production. Just having a unifying leader in the middle of that lineup every day.
And prior to that was Jason Giambi.
Yeah.
That was with Terry Francona. So Francona, a guy that likes those type of guys around him. And Giambi didn't produce as much as Napoli has. But the leadership.
And of course, there'll be questions surrounding Joe Mauer and his health status. It's been a frustrating year for Joe. He got a lot of at-bats and was in the lineup up until recently on a regular basis, but I don't know that he was 100% for much of the season.
Twins still expect more out of Joe, but he's got to get healthy.
2-2 to Eaton. Tapper to short.
In a hurry.
And Polanco juggles it. Still got him on a close play. Little double clutch as he tried to get the ball out of his glove. 2 away. We'll see if the White Sox challenge.
Yeah, that's why I like Adam Eaton right there. Here, last game of the season, he's hustling out of that box. Slapping that ball the other way. Polanco comes in, had a little trouble, still gets something on that throw. And a bang-bang play, Eaton is called out.
And the White Sox won't challenge. 2 down, and Tim Anderson.
And if this is the final game for Robin Ventura, good luck to him.
Strike at the knees. Right now 20 games separating the White Sox and the Twins. The White Sox will finish a few games behind Kansas City in 4th place. But again, I think the Twins' primary problem, so easily identifiable, not easily fixed, but this could be a much better team next year if the starting pitching is competitive. How you do that, I have no idea.
Well, starters this year, if Orioles wins here with the final out, 37 and 71 combined. ERA about 5.4. Not good.
1-2 to Tim Anderson. Reason Nick Lentz looking toward the Chicago dugout. I don't know if he's looking for the ball boy, that he needs new baseballs, more baseballs. 1-2.
Well, let's take some home.
And now 2-2. And with that, the Twins pick up win number 59. Nice finish to a bad season with nice wins both Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Buxton got it going with the inside park home run, and then Sano with a big 3-run home run. Jose Barrios winning his 3rd major league game, and what we saw all along, good relievers. They had needed 4 innings to help Barrios get that win.
And Tom Hanneman, as we send it to you for the last time, when we started the season in early April, we sure thought there'd be more wins than there were. Only 59 of them, but the Twins end up finishing the season with a win against the White Sox.